June 2nd. We're coming into summer over here for a live supercharged event as we are out here predicting the price of BTC. Unfortunately, BTC's back in the $68,000 range, dropping down about $10,000 since last week. So, unfortunate to be here. But I guess that just comes, with the volatility. What goes down must go back up, right? Or is it the opposite? What goes up must come back down? Who knows? Let's reverse the gravity and hope for a good situation over here. How you doing today, Yeti?
That's why you've got to reach the moon first, That's
It's
yeah,
all
pretty good.
You get somewhere and then another force of gravity pulls you in. So you just got to shoot far enough.
Yeah.
You should be good. But all right, let's just get into it, man. I think it's been interesting last 2 weeks. We've either seen a bunch of hacks going on in the space, or we are been seeing some scamming going on. So, some of these hacks, right, are just like some back doors that they have. Some of them are better, like phishing scams, where they're able to get people's private keys and information and other things like that. But from a pretty notable company, people are claiming that Polymarkets scammed this one user out of 500K, and multiple other users had also feel like they had been slighted and scammed because there was a market on Polymarkets that said, will MicroStrategies sell Bitcoin by May 31st? And they had found out that there was a filing that shows between the period of May 26th to May 31st, Michael Saylor had sold Bitcoin, about $2.5 million worth or so, at an average price of $77,135. So people are pretty upset. The Polymarkets market had stayed open. People are pointing out that per the API, the market closed July 1st. So, the market was July 1st per the API or whatever. So that's kind of weird, being even July all the way out to July 1st. So I guess they were just able to keep it open for a little bit and then just decide when they actually wanted to close it. But again, this guy lost 500K. He got into the market seeing that it was open and knowing that Michael Saylor had sold Bitcoin, and Polymarkets denied those users of their returns and said no because of they said, what'd they say about it, Yeti, exactly?
Well, they added in a clause. So after this guy had put in all this money and after these other users had, and they put it in like, so the guy that lost the 500K had legitimately been placing it throughout the month of May as well. So he'd seen them move Bitcoin to a SEX and was like, oh, they've never done that before. Spent ages researching it and was like, well, I think they're likely to be selling. That's why they're moving it there. And so he started putting positions down on, yes, they will sell in the month of May. And then it got to June 1st, where they released their documents saying about what they'd done. And, saying that they'd sold Bitcoin in that time. Market's still open, as you said, at around 80 cents. And so he's like, oh, well, it's 100% chance that it's going to happen. And so, that it will resolve to yes. And so he took the trade, as you would, if you see that there. I mean, it's a bit of a red flag, there being such a discrepancy in the market. But, I mean, that happens occasionally, that, you find it before other people.
Yep.
And so he went hard into it, $500,000 all up. And then they added in a thing saying that it needed to be that the information, even though the market was still open after the period was over, they added in a bit after that fact saying, the information needs to have been released within the month of May. And so it went from being 100% certainty based on the original wording and the wording that like everyone had put their bets in with, to being a 0% chance because it was already past that time and hadn't been settled. And so just like such a scam. Like it's like, and who when you think about it, like the red flag of there being this like 80-20 split on what, for anyone without any knowledge other than what they're seeing on the thing, 100% chance of it being true. Like, yes, they sold Bitcoin in May, and we have the proof of it in their document filings, which is listed in the thing as being like enough of an arbiter, like that was the condition, them releasing it. One of the conditions, it was also like, if there was a consensus of media reports on it or something, but one of them was like, if they release a thing saying they've sold it. And so, like looking at that, it's 100%, 100% true. It's settles as yes. But there's people out there putting large amounts, enough liquidity on no, that someone can put in $500,000. So, like they're putting in a lot of $500,000 at an 80 cents yes. So they're putting in, what, 5 times that? So they're putting in $2.5 million on something that, for all intents and purposes, looks like a guaranteed loss. Nobody does that without inside information, like someone in there obviously knew that the rules were going to change to the market, and they took it and they won. Like they took the absolute 0% chance thing for huge sums of money, and then it paid it out in their favor, which just doesn't seem at all likely to me.
Scammers.
Oh man,
that is really unfortunate. I know a lot of people complained back when they had the Powell market. Will it be out of the Fed chair by May 16th? He wasn't out on that date, but Polymarket decided to close the market as a yes. So they screwed a bunch of people over back then. And then there was another thing.
Oh yeah.
What no, we're gonna say
with the Ukraine-Russia ceasefire, they did one.
Yep.
So they over Russia basically unilaterally decided they were going to have that. They were like, oh, we're having a ceasefire. And then Ukraine was like, oh, yeah, well, so it became non-unilateral. They were like, yes, we're going to have one too. And they paid it out, which seems okay. You look at that just as an isolated thing. I could see that fulfilling the things of a non-unilateral ceasefire, given that even though they both unilaterally declared it, they both declared it for the same. There's a crossover of time period there that you would say, yeah, that's okay, except that they'd previously done one where for over Easter, where they'd both agreed to have a ceasefire that they didn't pay out.
Yeah,
and so for the same market, different time, suddenly they decide to pay it out totally the opposite to what they decided on earlier on. Again, you have to assume the reason for that is that there's some shady ass shit going on. There
is. I know people talked about too, there's some weird thing around the odds around the Iran strikes Israel in the beginning of March. People said that market was rigged. It's they said they helped these Yuma whales out. I've also seen some of the people from Yuma who decide these things, and it's doesn't really look like someone who's a professional. It'll be some random person
Yuma? Is Yuma an agency that they use to decide?
Yeah, UMA. It's the protocol that basically decides where these markets go. It's kind of their kind of the judgment layer.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a big problem with all of these. The fantastic thing about our game is it's uses an Oracle price feed, and so it can't be, it's beyond manipulation in that sense. I guess someone could manipulate the price of Bitcoin itself, similar to how people could, manipulate the outcome of real world events like prediction markets.
Mm-hmm.
But then adding in this arbitrary, I mean, it's a lot of it's arbitrary, but this was really not even arbitrary. This was very clear and even then they can change the result. It's just it is just bizarre that like I will never touch it again. I
No.
would previously have used it a bunch, but I will never touch it again. It's like,
Yep, I saw it too with the liquidity changes, drops in liquidity. I mean, order book depth, you know, some really weird fee structures, increased fee structures.
yep. I reckon now is a good time to short Polymarket.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I reckon it's down only from here.
Yeah, I believe it is, man. Hopefully they don't get out to IPO, or it's the worst IPO in history. They want to basically
I thought
get it
aren't they
out.
already trading?
I don't think it IPO'd.
Oh, it didn't. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, there you go. You can't short it. Bummer.
Yeah, has not filed for IPO.
Huh.
But they wanted to. They wanted to get it done. I think sometime in July, or maybe they're thinking August. Like I knew they were trying to raise money, and it was like a 4-month out IPO or something like that. And basically, what they want to do is get out all of their really early wealthy investors so they could just dump it on the public. The guy who owns and is one of the owners of NYSE or whatever, ICE, which is like the data company behind it. He invested $2 billion, so he's pretty incentivized.
$2 billion.
Yeah, $2 billion.
Oh man, I would short it if that was the whole valuation of them now.
He's extremely incentivized to get out that $2 billion. So it seems like he's been pulling every lever he has on Wall Street to make sure his investment goes well.
Why the fuck would they like scam people for 500K if they've got like they're obviously like their valuation is going to be like a hell of a lot higher than 2 billion if their chief investor has invested $2 billion. Like, what are they doing? That is just incompetence. It's like not even like, so they're like scamming people, but they're also like incompetent. Like, what is their thought process there?
There's definitely some greed. Maybe some people are lining their pockets with some money.
Yeah.
Maybe they got to make other people money.
It'll be interesting to see if they pay out these people. I have a feeling if it's that, now that I know that there's that big money in it, I reckon they'll pay them out. It's like they'll have to, just so that they can, dump on the public at some point in the future.
Yeah. Uh-oh. These freaking guys, man.
Oh man, it's like, yeah. Hyperliquid is going to take them to the cleaners with their HIP4 markets, their prediction markets.
So they just need to release the exact same ones. That's all they got to do now.
Yeah.
Same time frames, and they'll win.
They should release that exact market just by itself for a bit, like a Will MicroStrategy sell, with the original wording, and just like pay it out as like have a that it's. I mean, it's a kind of a weird thing because like you need to have an end date set to know oh, if it hasn't come out by this date, then it resolves to no. Like that should have been wording in there. It was like very poorly worded initially.
Yeah, it shouldn't even have gone into June 1st. If it's by May 31st, it should end then.
Yeah, I mean, given what they resolved it as, 100, it should have. Given that, you can't let people put positions down on a market that like has already happened. But I think that shows that they leaving it open. I think shows that they never really intended that originally.
Yeah, or just leaving it open only to like wait for the data to come in. Like that's the only reason it should have been open still. It's because like their data wasn't released for the month yet.
Yeah.
Absolute scammers, man. The voice said, if I see Shane, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to rough up his little perm.
He's got a very slappable face, that guy.
I'm going to rough up his little perm and his neatly shaved eyebrows. His little leather jacket. Cool guy. It turned him from looking like a tweaker founder into cool guy. You know? He's out there trying to get some ladies. Ladies.
Have you put up that your LinkedIn picture yet?
Oh, that one? Not as my LinkedIn, but it's for the Doge one.
Oh man, you gotta put it as your LinkedIn. It's so good.
Yeah, just freaking spoof on everyone on LinkedIn. Today I became the CEO of Big Tobacco and Big Milk. Everyone's like, oh, I hate Big Milk and Big Tobacco. I'll get you. Yes.
Why do people hate Big Milk?
I don't know, because it just, you know, all the growth hormone and other shit that they put in it, you know. And then you got the raw milk drinkers versus the pasteurized milk drinkers. You got the 2%ers, the 1%ers, the skimmers.
What are the 2%ers and 1%ers?
So 2% milk, which is like 2% fat, 1% milk, 1% fat, skim milk, and then whole milk.
Whole milk is just regular full cream milk.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a whole milk guy, right?
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, fucking oath. I would imagine so.
I don't want my milk cut down with no water.
Yeah, what the fuck? I could add water to it if I wanted to, and have more milk.
Give me that pure shit.
Yeah. Cut my milk.
I tried the raw milk once. Just to do it, you know. So everyone's like, oh, raw milk, it's gonna kill you. You're gonna get a disease.
I've had the like not straight out of the cow milk, but like the non-homogenized, non-pasteurized milk, and it was pretty similar just to normal milk. Really, it wasn't like
I didn't
like
think
it was just had a heaps better layer of cream at the top, and like a little, you know, like a little bit separated, I guess, but like heaps more. It felt like it had heaps more fat in it overall, which I enjoyed.
You know, that's how messed up our milk is, though. We don't get the cream line, really. It's like a rare thing. Like one day, someone on TikTok,
tiny bit of it. Yeah.
We don't get any of it on a lot of our milk. It's like you have to get it from like some really good farm or something like that. But like one day, Gen Z on TikTok was like, cream line, like, oh my god, like you can get this special milk that has this cream line, and you just take a spoon and eat it, and it's so good. You know, and they're like making it into this trend, like delicacy. Everyone's like, "Oh, I gotta get cream line." It's like, yeah, it's just like really good regular milk. Like,
yeah.
Of course, the influencers how to ruin it.
I'm a big milk drinker though. I drink a lot of milk.
Yeah.
Love it.
I
drink so much full cream milk, but then I also drink so much soy milk.
Wait, you cut out there, Yeti.
Oh, I drink so much full cream milk, but I also...
Oh, no.
You can't hear me?
I think I cut out for a second.
Oh, right. I could hear you the whole time, though. But yeah, I drink heaps of full cream milk, but I also drink heaps of soy milk.
Yeah.
I coffees... Soy milk just tastes heaps better in coffee, I reckon.
Yeah. I haven't drank soy milk in a while, though. Because all the soy milk we get is like... some Chinese soy.
Yeah. You should try the bonsai. It just tastes heaps better too.
Yeah. Let's see if we have it somewhere. I don't mind it though. I think it's good. I used to drink like a lot of protein shakes with it back in the day.
Yep.
But now I'm the CEO of Big Milk, so can't be supporting the competitors.
I reckon Big Tobacco would they would own all the vapes as well, and they'd Big Milk probably owns all the soy milk too.
Yeah, they probably do too at this point. They bought all the small brands and changed all the recipes.
Added in seed oil to all of it, so their milk is still better.
Yeah, massive amounts. Dude, we really got to watch out in the U.S. though right now. The alpha gal is on the rise.
What's that?
So the ticks, the Texas Lone Star tick carries this disease called alpha gal, which it's funny because at one point they talked about it at the World Economic Forum as a way to like possibly reduce meat consumption in the U.S.
Oh, we get the same thing occasionally here, but they don't. Our government, so I know people that have gotten this, where basically like they get hives after they eat meat now, but they say you can't get it in Australia. But I know people that have gotten it in Australia.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. My uncle got it, unfortunately, which I'm like, oh, I feel terrible for him. It can take like 7 years to get rid of. Supposedly there might be a way to get rid of it, but
I think doesn't it just go naturally after a bit?
I think it might. Yeah. But I think there's like a method to it as well.
Yeah,
to try to get rid of it faster.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, what a terrible thing. And it's like, come on, guys. Do we not remember that ticks were created off of Plum Island, as a biological weapon?
What?
Yeah. So look up Plum Island. So it's like
one of your conspiracy theories. This sounds like.
No, dude. I've seen Plum Island in person, and I know it's pretty freaking sketchy. So they claim like the government didn't create these tick colonies back in the 1970s, but it's a popular conspiracy that the ticks carrying Lyme disease were engineered or accidentally released. And there's this island off of kind of like off of Connecticut, like kind of like out there closer to like New York, I guess. But like you can see it from like Long Island Sound. So if you leave Connecticut, you can see it on the end of New York. And it's called the Plum Island. And it's where it's a known laboratory where they've done like a lot of bio weapons testing and other things like that. And some people say that's where Stranger Things, that's like what that's based off of, which is like the testing that went out on Plum Island. And, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not true, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just an island. But like, I've taken my boat around there. And if you get too close to that island, Coast Guard will pull up on you with a giant machine gun. And the Coast Guard like surrounds this island and monitors island, and there's watch houses there. And all that what happens on the island is there's a ferry that goes back and forth from the island to mainland, and it takes scientists from the ferry to the mainland every once in a while, and that's the only people who are allowed on it. Okay. So it's like they can say whatever they want, but you try to get near that island, and they will try to kill you. So
yeah, but I mean, there's they may well be doing shit there, but I've just looked it up. So are you part of do you believe that they created Lyme disease, or that they just were experimenting on weaponizing the ticks, and they either on purpose or accidentally released this strain of Lyme disease, they released ones with Lyme disease?
Yeah, because I think they were just experimenting on the ticks, and then I think it was accidental and it got released.
Okay, but do you think that there was Lyme disease before then? Because I mean, there's heaps of, it seems like there's scientists, independent scientists saying that it occurs in, you can find it in fossil evidence dating back 60,000 years. You can find evidence of Borrelia burgdorferi bacteria.
I think it maybe existed, but I don't think it was maybe as strong. And I think they might have manipulated the strain and then found the best carrier for it. I definitely believe we did bioweapons testing because, think about all that stuff in World War II, all the different
they definitely would have done
bioweapons that we were testing.
Surely. Yeah.
And I think someone I think a lot of this stuff, it's not like some scientist is mixing up some random stuff and like find something new. Like they find a strain and then they kind of mess around with it, manipulate it, see how it continues to grow and change. And so I think it was like an accidental thing that they like got out. But there's a crazy one.
Scientist realized that his favorite tick was going to get destroyed, and so he took it out and set it free. Like, run away, Jimmy!
Yeah.
Don't look back, just run!
There's like an old folklore tale too about the Montauk monster.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so it's this creature that they say that washed up on the shore of Montauk that was like some animal that they were testing on Plum Island. And it was like, that's like where Man Bear Pig came from too, for South Park.
Yeah.
So they're like this creature washed up that like looks really weird. And there's a lot of people tell stories about it. Like I think it was probably like a pig that had like maybe like been like biologically engineered in some way, so it was like manipulated and it looked pretty crazy, and then washed up on shore, and then they try to like cover it up because like they do a lot of animal testing and random stuff like that. But there's always like people always talk about that one.
Yep. It is a fucking weird looking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't even know what of those pictures are real though anymore, And they like, I remember seeing it on like National Geographic and like, these different hit shows on the History Channel when I was younger. And I would hear people talk about it who like lived around there.
You cannot trust anything off that. That is
aliens.
That is like proper like trash.
It is so good. Dude, they're so good at getting like people who are like 60 to like 90 years old. They're like, oh my god. They're like, did you know the Great Pyramids were created by aliens?
I saw it on the TV. It was like, it had to be on something labeled the History Channel, no less.
Oh, of course. They're like, how could they be called the History Channel if they're not showing real history?
That's it. That's supercharged.
That was pretty good. That was a fun one today, guys. We got to discuss some biological weapons. We got to discuss some scamming going on in the industry. Never a dull day in crypto over here. So let's hope for Bitcoin to bounce back. It looks like it's continuing to go down. We lost about $1,000 of value since we've been on. So unfortunate day. I think people are really fed up with crypto.
Yeah, when you said we went down 10,000 since last week, I think it's more like 17,000. We hit 85, didn't we? Like a week ago.
Jeez. So,
85.
Guys, I don't know if you know what they're doing, but it's not financial advice, but this is typically what happens. They'll do a large shakeout. They'll destroy all the trust in the ecosystem. And then what will happen is overnight, all these funds who have been sitting on the sides for years wanting to own digital assets will come in with trillions of dollars.
Yeah, dangerous place to be playing with perps, but a good place to be accumulating spot.
Yep, they're going to make this look like it's the worst thing ever. And then they're going to come in, and when you lose all hope in it, they're going to come in and try to buy it all up for cheap. So just remember, guys, that's usually how it works. Not financial advice, but, just speculation, theory, conspiracy, and everything above. But all right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day.